What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to the Monday Night Call. In conclusion, I am an unequivocally full of crap, and of course, he is full of crap. He is. He is. Listen, I don't like what Trump. I don't like Powell, and I don't like what Trump's doing to Powell. Okay, so I'm betwixt and between here. But in the meantime, again, markets are very very challenging right now. Been very very tough. Okay, very slow. You get some nice swings, and if you're catching some good spots, great. Okay, if you're selling premium, great. Okay. Again, as long as you have some protection to what you're doing and understand where you're getting in and getting out, you're fine. Okay. Again, you could have losses, you have gains, but it doesn't matter as long as you understand your exact objective of what you're trying to do. Okay. Income tax, the fine you pay for being productive. Welfare, the reward you get for being unproductive. I think shouldn't we just abolish the IRS? Okay. Shouldn't we just get rid of the IRS along as the Fed? Okay. Or just make it a flat tax for everybody? Whatever the number is, 20%, 10%, 25%, whatever the number is. Wouldn't it be better? Okay. In the meantime, if you're afraid of what Iran might do back to the US, they can't and won't do anything. But if you're afraid of why you weren't terrified of them getting nuclear weapons, well, that's an issue, right? I mean, again, you got to think about these things. Everybody worries about what's going on in California, what's going on here. Here's an enemy that'd just as soon kill you, okay, as look at you. And they have no regard for human life. Think about that. In the meantime, especially today, to all my military, thank you. I salute you. I appreciate you. Obviously, I know it's never comfortable to be a bomber, but I have to thank you for taking care of us. And thank you for your service. And to those of you who have lost, thank you as well. Obviously, very important part of our lives, and we need more. And we do need to spend more on defense. I am in agreement with that, but that's a story for another day. U.S. existing home sales print weakest May since 2009. Interesting year. So we keep hearing how good housing is, but yet, is it good? Anybody here in real estate? Anybody here in real estate with me tonight? Just out of curiosity. And if you are, how's your market? Okay. I think the housing market's going to collapse. I do believe that, but it doesn't mean tomorrow. Okay. I do believe it's going to collapse. I'm like it, but not a realtor. How's the business? How's the real estate business? Again, I'm not predicting anything. I'm telling you that from the signs I see and the massive amount of building that's still going on, okay, the interest rates don't compute. And when the builder is giving you tough, and this is Dallas, yeah, there you go. See? And when the builder is going to give you a lower than market mortgage rate, what should that signal to anybody? If the builder is willing to give you a less than market rate, okay, what would that say to anybody? I know what it says to me. Okay, it says that they're worried that they're not going to sell enough homes, and they're worried that they can't get enough mortgages, and they're stuck with a lot of inventory. State Department issues worldwide caution for U.S. citizens after U.S. strikes on Iran. You know what? I'm so sick of our old government in general. Okay. Trump did the right thing, in my opinion. I said it last week. Wipe him off the face of the map. That was what I said. Okay. Hims and hers, health crashes after Novo nukes GLP-1 partnership over illegal mass compounding scheme. Okay. Next step, builder goes broke. Probably. Again, anybody ever heard of this pharmaceutical compounding? Anybody use a compounder? There are places, okay, that compound drugs that you can buy much less expensive than you can at the store, especially if you don't have insurance. And they make some real good drugs. But there's always the one, and I'm not saying Hims is one of them. I'm just saying that obviously that deal fell apart. But there's always somebody who wants to give you sugar pills for a real disease or for something real, right? And I'm not saying this is the case, but obviously this compounding scheme, there's always should be something to think about, right? I mean, typically where there's smoke, there's fire. Bauman joins race for Powell's job, supports rally rate cut, excuse me. Can you imagine that? Now you got Waller and Bauman. Okay. They're vying to be the next Fed chair. Okay. Because so they're kissing Trump's ass. Okay. So that he knows, so that when he picks the next Fed chair. Okay. Some primaries he won't carry specifics. So I listen, I get stuff from a compounder out of Michigan. Okay. Fed rate cuts for July only 10%. I say less than 1%. That's my opinion. Okay. But again, we'll see what happens. Okay. The words of wisdom from our friend Connie: if you could erase all the mistakes of your past, you would also erase all the wisdom of your present. Remember the lesson, not the disappointment. Always spot on, my dear. Thank you so much. And of course, she's got a whole book for me on her State of the Union. Relax, leftists. It was a mostly peaceful Iranian bombing. God help me. Huh? Mohammed Khalil, not an American citizen, a pro-Palestine protester. Israel is our ally in the Middle East, released from jail, and AOC was there to meet him. You can't make this shit up. Okay. If Beyonce was really for women's rights, why hasn't she spoken up about any of Diddy's victims? Well, because she's a part of Diddy's victims. Okay. Let's make no mistake. This bitch is as guilty as it gets in a lot of these schemes. Okay. Thank you for the Juneteenth holiday. People need to be reminded that the Democrats owned slaves and the Republicans freed them. Okay. And my bitch, those who think the Fed should cut rates because of our debt. Okay. Now let's explain something. Do you think that we should keep cutting rates because of the national catastrophe of debt, including President Trump continues to add to? Or should our government quit spending so much of our damn money, okay, and bring the debt down by paying it down, and not have the interest rates that are charged be responsible for why we should cut rates? You tell me, okay? Makes absolutely no damn sense, okay? People wrote me all week. I got a lot of hate mail this weekend because I did my show, and they said, well, we got to cut rates for the end. Well, why don't we cut spending? How about that? Why don't we quit spending so much money? Okay. How did we get $36 trillion in debt? Okay. We'll just look back at every president. They continue to spend like drunken sailors. All right. Enough of that. Let's get back to work. All right. All right. The Dow, Yankee Michael. Nothing has changed. Okay. 42 to 43. We're getting close to 43. Nothing has changed. Okay. 42,000, 43,000. We have no position. Okay. The S&P, 6,000 to 6,200. Okay, we're short. Okay. Again, nothing's changed. There's hard. You can't make this shit up. Okay. Nothing is going on. It feels like we're going somewhere, but we're going nowhere. The NASDAQ, 21.6 to 22.4. Where we are, right dead in the middle, once again. So for months, we've been churning around. Okay. And the Russell, Romeo Tango Yankee, 2,100 to 2,200. So you could have just taken last week's notes and recopied and pasted. Nothing has changed. So throughout all the nonsense, all that's really changing is the VIX continues to stay lower. And I don't think the VIX was down enough today based on the size of the rally we had. But again, here we are hovering, okay, and sucking out the premium with lack of opportunity because you can't get big enough moves to overcome some of these. And that's what you have to deal with, okay? Now, again, it's interesting where we're at. We'll see how the rest of the week plays out. But I don't have much expectation of anything unbelievable happening as far as the market is concerned. My opinion is the next big move, and don't get me wrong, we can make new highs, okay? I'm not saying we can't do that, but the next big move will be down, okay? We could make new highs and then go down. We could just go down, okay? Either way, I think that the next really big move will be low, okay? Just an opinion. Doesn't mean anything. Apple. Alpha Papa Lima continues to do nothing. 195 to 205 has not changed. Okay. Has not changed at all. Had a nice up move on Friday, but in the meantime, going nowhere. Okay. And we thought out of this would break out. That hasn't. It's still going sideways. Alpha Golf holding up pretty well, actually, based on the move. I would say I'd like 750 better. Okay. I think you're 750 to 850 right now. Okay. But if you're not in and you'd like to take a look, you might want to look at $8. I'm not saying anything. 750 to 850 are official, but $8 is the spot you may want to look. Amazon, Alpha Michael Zulu November, again breaking a little bit of the downside. Last week we were looking at 210 to 220. Okay, so we're still now 215 to 205. Okay, 215 to 205, and 205 happens to coincides with the 200 moving average. So it'd be somewhere, it should be interesting when we get around there. Bido, Bravo, India, Tango, Oscar. Now, for those who are new, we don't officially trade this. I trade it. I own it. Pays a monster dividend. It's related to Bitcoin, but hasn't kept up the same speed and pace of Bitcoin itself. But certainly, I would still look at it at 20. Okay. And I think it's 20 to 22 now. The resistance has come down from 24 to 22. Interesting. Bitcoin has had a very nice move up, but yet we can't seem to get this going. But again, remember, this pays a 52% dividend. Okay. So you add that in, at the end of the year, it's going to pay, right, at based on current price, it's going to pay $10 in dividends this year. Okay. So keep that in mind, which is one of the reasons it doesn't track. Okay. And the other thing is about the dividend, if you're thinking about it, it's a non-qualified dividend. So it doesn't get dividend tax treatment, it gets normal tax treatment. BitQ, Bravo, India, Tango, Quebec, we're just churning. 17 to 19 have not changed. Looks pretty good though, and potentially, remember we talk about that cup and handle pattern? There's the cup, there's the handle. Okay. It could be another breakout to the upside. We'll see. Obviously, this is very dependent on Bitcoin itself. Coin had a huge move. We are shorted. Again, I like coin in general. I would say right now, 320 would be the next resistance target, and now 260 would be support, which is right where we broke out from. We were watching 240 to 280, and if you notice, it came down to around the 240 level before taking off. Okay, so again, not a big deal. I would expect this to come off a little bit, but the blow off in volume was not very big considering what you saw last time. Crowd, Charlie Romeo, Whiskey Delta, no action. 460, 500, hasn't changed. Okay, sit here with nothing to do. 460 to 500. And don't get me wrong, you can trade inside that range if you want, and you can sell premium around it. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want to do. I just choose not to do it. Okay, I'm only selling premium against those ratios we have on. Okay. Meta, Michael Echo Tango Alpha, same thing. 675 to 7.25 has not changed. Okay. So you're grasping the pattern of what's going on here, right? You can see that the lack of activity that we really have in this market. Google, Golf Oscar Golf Lima. All right, interesting. So now Google had a little bit of a blow off on Friday. Would have been a potential buy today. It is very oversold. I would think that you'd want to look at this at about 160, okay, as a potential buy. And I think 170, which is right up against the 200-day moving average. I think that would be a pretty good trade, either side. Now we do have, not yet, but what are we, 2 weeks away, 3 weeks away from earnings season starting again? So we'll have to start reevaluating some of these. Right now, nothing to be concerned about. IWM has not moved. Okay, it's still 205 to 215. I could make a case for 210, but I'll leave it alone because again, when they're so thin, it's hard to get too overly excited. Microsoft, Michael Sierra, Foxtrot, Tango, another new high. Continues to charge higher. Okay, I would suggest that still 500 would be where I'd be looking at, and I would suggest that still 470 is a support. It hasn't changed since last week. You had an opportunity potentially, and I'm not saying anybody should have made this trade. Okay, first of all, the low is 472. But again, if you were looking, that might have been a spot. I did not make a trade there, but I'm just saying. Monster, Michael Sierra, Tango Romeo, back to the very oversold position. I would think you're looking at probably 345 to 400. Okay. And the volatility is coming out a little bit. So maybe we may become more active in this. Right now, there's nothing to do, but we may be becoming more active in this as it slows a little bit. Nugget, November Uniform Golf Tango. Well, there it is, 76 to 84. There's our level right there. Notice it came down, hit it twice, and bounced off it both times. NVIDIA, November Victor Delta Alpha. Same thing. Okay. 140, 150. Actually, I said 140, 145 last week. It's still 140, 145. I just assumed that was 150. Okay. But I now remember the Qs, Quebec, Quebec, Quebec. No, nothing's changed. 520, 540. So you can see, and for those of you hedging with your iron condors, you've had a pretty good run with your iron condors the last 4 or 5 weeks, haven't you? SMCI kills me. 40 to 45. So many charts look exactly. That's my point. So many things look the same because there's nothing really going on. So you can pretend like we're busy, but I'm going to ask the captain. He's here. Are we busy or are we dead, Cap? What's your take? You're a chart guy. You're a numbers guy. What's your take of this whole shit? I'll get his response and I'll report in. XYZ, the old square block, nothing's changed. 60 to 70. You could actually make a case for 65 here. Not even a war can move the needle. There you go. Where are you at now, big boy? Last report I got from you, you were in Poland, I think. I believe. I can't remember. You've been so many places. Home sweet home. Oh, good for you. The Spy, Sierra Papa Yankee. 590 to 610. Dead nuts in the middle. Tesla, big move today. Hit a big break. Came above the 200-day moving average, consolidated, big break today. I would look to be a seller at 375. I'm not negative, just the pattern. Okay. Just again, if it pops up there, I'd be a willing participant to take a shot to the short side. I own this, but I'd be willing to take a shot to the short side. I think you're looking at 320 to 375. Okay, and I guess the robo taxis they have are doing great. Well, that's what they're saying. Okay. Again, it could be that it was very oversold and just popped. Listen, it's still well off where its highs were. So, yeah, you said they were great. They handle Manhattan. Win, Whiskey Yankee, November, November. Interesting spot. I think your support is going to be 86, 86 to 92. XBI hasn't changed. 80 to 85. XLE, which I don't trade. You got hammer today, which makes sense. It looks like 90 on the upside, which I think is false. I think 85, which I also think is false, but that would be what I can read right in front of you. 80 to 85. And Zoom continues to hover along right on the 200-day moving average. So it hasn't done anything. I think you're really looking at 75 to 80. Okay. Look, at the end of the day, it's excruciatingly, painfully quiet. Okay. That's the big thing. Okay. Hood and misunderstood. Hotel, Oscar Delta. Looks fine. Okay. They had their one little meltdown off of some news they weren't getting the S&P. It looks really good. I mean, again, you could make the case that this is a cup and handle. That's almost as well defined as you can get. That's actually a cup, but I can't do curves here. Okay. There's the handle, and then here's the breakout. So CNQ, Charlie November, Quebec. Well, it did what it should have done. It sold off from here. Okay. I would say if you're looking to be a buyer, I'd like to buy it around 43 if I could. GEV Golf Echo Victor looks like it's breaking out. Again, I hate GE, so I can't give you a good solid opinion. I got a personal stake with them. But if I were looking to be a buyer, it would be 475. Netflix, Netflix never goes down. Can you imagine I was shorting this at 100? Anyways, I can't be a buyer here. If I were going to be a buyer, it would have to be somewhere around 1200 as it sits right now. Again, doesn't mean I'm right. To me, it's just it keeps going up, and I certainly want to buy it. I mean, I want to buy it somewhere, but now I don't want to buy it at what I consider to be a top, a temporary top. I mean, it doesn't mean it won't come back. Oracle, Oscar Romeo, Charlie Lima. Gotta remember when it was 50 bucks. It looks good. I mean, again, you have to resolve this, but it is doing it in consolidation. If you're looking to be a buyer, I'd say around 200. If you're looking to be a seller, I'd like to be a seller about 215. EUAD, Echo Uniform Alpha Delta. That's a new one. I looked at that this morning for you. Looks good. Again, I always have trouble with something new. Okay. But it looks good. Okay. I mean, if I were going to buy it, I'd like to buy it at 40 bucks, 35, 39, 40. I think it looks fine. Uh, TPL, Tango Papa Lima. Be nice if I could type, but you know that I can't. You've all gone to my typing school. This doesn't look very good. This looks like it's breaking down. Okay. Again, if you're looking to be a buyer, I'd let it break and find a spot later to buy it. I have no buy target right now. KTOS, KTOS looks really good. But again, this goes back to my same thing. Not that it won't go higher. It's just hard for me to want to buy it up there. Okay. I would have no problem, selling something, trying to create it. But to me, it's hard to want to buy when I expect a little bit of a pullback. But it has been overbought for basically almost a month. So if you'd have waited, I would have told you the same thing here. So you'd have missed $6 of a rally. Misty, MS Michael Sierra Tango Yankee. This looks awful. Oh, this is one of those yield max shit. I don't know. I can't. These are not real charts. These are selling options. I can't. Again, I don't get them. I don't like them. K2S a long time ago. A long time ago. Now I'm watching a couple I'll share with you. MP. Okay. I don't have any position in this. Okay. I didn't know about it until it was too late, but I am watching it. Okay. And I will probably, if it gets back to 32, I'll look at to be a buyer. This is one you guys have asked me about before. I am watching this for an opportunity. Uh, India, Oscar, November, Quebec, and QBTS, which you've also asked me about in the past. Quebec, Bravo, Tango, Sierra. Right now, I'm waiting to see how far to come down. I'd like to see it come down to like 13. I would be a buyer around there. Okay. Toast, Post Toasties, Tango, Oscar, Sierra, Tango. Looks really good. Listen, it had explosion up. It resolved the blow off in consolidation. I'd be a buyer at 42. And again, you're going to hedge it most likely, so you can buy it anyway. Okay. And what's our other one? MTPLF. This is doing fine. Okay. I mean, again, I own this from 6 and change. Okay. If I'm going to buy more, I'd like to buy it somewhere around 10. Okay. And we'll see. Again, it's just a small position. But certainly I got to participate with my gang. Okay. In the meantime, you can see what we just looked at. We just looked at a series of charts that were almost all virtually identical. Okay. Nothing is going too far away from their mean right now. Some are overbought, some are oversold, but at the end of the day, none can seem to break out of their ranges. So it behooves you as a trader to be careful. It behooves you as a trader to watch yourself and understand. So what if you miss a trade? What is the difference? Is one trade CRWV? This is a monster. Why don't you tell me about it when it was 60 or 40? It's a monster. Again, I can't buy it up here, but I'm happy you got it. Just like this one, circle. Look at this. Wish I would have sold it at 300 today. But again, you have to remember that one trade is not going to change your life. But one bad trade could hurt you and change your mental. So doesn't it make more sense to sit it out and be patient? And if you find something that you just have to do it with protection and defend yourself against it. I call it the what if scenario. Know what you're going to do. If I do this, I'm going to do this. If. Any questions before I kiss you all goodbye? Thank you as always. Very enjoyable session. Hope you have it. Thank you very much. No, sir. Thanks, buddy. Have a great week. Steady as they go. That's it. Be steady. Be disciplined. You'll have a much better shot. And thanks, everybody. Have a great week.
You know how the financial world goes. Here comes the buzzkill. Please make sure to take some time to read this boring disclaimer. We will owe you one.